Hello, my name is Jorge Sanchez, and in this video, I am going to present you the Tethys Platform. But what is the Tethys Platform? One of the big challenges faced by the wider community of scientists is the type of technological and programming capacity required to develop robust web applications. Because besides understanding the hydrometeorological sciences necessary to produce actionable information, you need to understand the applications and programming environment such as HTML, CSS, JavaScript, OpenLayers or GeoServer, PostGIS, Django, and others in order to create web applications. This can be daunting and compromises the ability to create robust, reliable, and sustainable applications that operate on global data. A project undertaken at Brigham Young University through a grant from the National Science Foundation produced the Tethys Platform, which combined into a single project the numerous and most robust open source projects necessary to create simple web applications that can deliver essential water variables data solutions from NASA, NOAA, Air observing systems, and models. This platform is wrapped in the Python programming language, which opens a large library of scientific computing tools that can be used to create customized web applications. Tethys is also a portal with the necessary user management based in Django that can be used to deploy and operate multiple web applications in order to provide a menu of options to stakeholders that can be used to solve problems from stream discharge to groundwater management to water balance and many other applications. In summary, we can say that the Tethys platform is a big box of web GIS stuff. The documentation with installation instructions and the source code is available at docs.tethys.org/en/stable. And the Tethys platform runs in Linux and Mac. Assuming that we have installed the Tethys platform, we are going to start with this example that shows one of the capabilities of Tethys, that is displaying the geographic data. So we need to open a terminal. We are going to move this to here, and we are going to open the terminal. So here is the folder where I have the apps installed. This is the list of apps that I have. So we start with the T command to activate the Tethys environment. We need to move to the Tethys dev folder. That is the folder where I have my app installed. And we use the command Tethys scaffold and the name of the app. In this case, we are going to use test app. And we are going to accept all the default values suggested by Tethys. We move to the folder of the new app and install the app. Now we have the app installed and we can start the Tethys server. So we use the URL of the Tethys environment, apps folder, and we have here. Here is our test app. We can navigate, so we see that these links are not working. We'll open the pie chart. So in Tethys dev, Tethys app test, this is our project. We are going to focus on the workspace and the public folder. The workspace, we have the app.py, controllers.py file. So in app.py, we have a URL map with the name, the URL, and the controller. So in controller, we should have a function that is called com. It's this one. In this function, we have like all the elements that we want to include in our HTML code. We have a save button, an edit button, a remove button, previous button, next button, and all these elements we include in a dictionary in the context, and we are going to return that. So in the home, here we have all the elements that we added through this command called gizmo. In this case, we want to remove that. So we are not going to add any of these elements. We have to delete from here also. After this is loading again. Now we don't have these buttons. So we can see that the base HTML corresponds to the app navigation panel, and the home HTML corresponds to the content panel. So here we have the elements of the base HTML. So we have this block. This is the app navigation panel. So we have the list, the title of the different list, and the elements of the list. And the same for the content of the app. We have the different headings. So in our Tethys app, we want to have a home that is going to show us a description of our app. And as we want to show the capability of Tethys displaying geographic data, we are going to have a map HTML file that is going to show us the map and the elements of the map. I want to show this first. All the Tethys app extends from our app-based HTML. We are adding the CSS, the styling, and the JavaScript, and we have these blocks. These blocks were like the divs in HTML. And also here we have the blocks, and we have that we extend or we inherit from the base HTML. So we don't have here the CSS or the JavaScript. We are inherit that from this base HTML. Now that we are going to have only two elements, so in this app navigation panel, we are only going to have the home and the map. So we copy and paste this into the base HTML in the app navigation, in the block app navigation. So with these commands that we are doing is that this long form that is calling the test app, that is the name of our app, and the home HTML file, we are only going to use home and map. And we use that in this part with the class active. That means that when I click here, it's going to be selected this one, so because it's the active. So if I change to the map, it's going to be active the map. I also add the URL, so we are going to go to the home HTML file or to the map HTML file, and these are the names that is going to be displayed. So if I reload the page, it's going to fail. Why? First, because we don't have the map HTML file, so let's go create it. So I am going to use the home HTML, and I am going to create a new one. It's going to be called map HTML. So now we have it. So we should be able to reload and see this failing. In the app.py, we have to modify the URL map to include the URL map to the map HTML file. So here, if I copy and paste that, so we change the name because our file is map HTML. We add the new URL, so it's in the same app but /map, and we change the name of the controller. So this is saying me that I have to add the controller. So I'm going to copy this one. And we change this one. And now we have in this Python controllers, the controllers file, I can add all the elements that we have, that we want to process in Python and that we want to add in our app. In this example, we are not going to use this element, but in the documentation, you can read more about that. So now we can, now that this is loading again. So now it's loaded. And yeah, we have the home and we have the map, and you see that now we can see where we are active and where we are not active. So as I mentioned before, in the home, we want to have a brief description of what is the app. We also, I want to show, we also have this help button to do a help or description of the app to the user. And this one is to add some configuration as use server, databases that we need to use in the app. And it's predefined by Tethys, and any app that you have, you can access that configuration as an admin user. Okay, so now we are going to have a brief description. So we go to our HTML in the home HTML. So we are going to have the paragraph. We want to change that to here. So welcome to this app by Jorge Luis Sanchez Lozano. And we want to copy that also in the help, this help, the help. Now, our app in the home, we have a brief summary that we want of our app. Also, we are going to have that into the Tethys app help. Okay. Now we want to go and add the map in the HTML file or the map navigation panel for our app. So the first thing is in the blog app content, we need to add the map. So we are going to delete that. It's going to use the map, and we also want to change the help in the map element. Now we have this, and as we saw in our project one, is not only to add the map in the HTML, we have to modify the JavaScript for that. So this JavaScript is empty. So we are going to use one element that is allowed in to the Tethys app, the open layers. From open layers, we are going to use the pink maps. And as in the Google Maps API, we can see that we need a key for the development. And here we are assigning the variable base layer. To the variable base layer, we are assigning the big map with the roads. And also, we need to create the map variable where I am going to add the layer that I have created recently, but also I am saying in which element of my HTML file, show map view, I am going to display that map. Okay, and also I'm giving another parameters like the center of the projection. So we use latitude and longitude. Here, this latitude and longitude corresponds to the Colombia center. And also we define the zoom level that we want. So now we have created this map variable that is going to display the map or the layer that I have defined before, that is the road big map. Okay, and finally, I need to add the styling for open layers and the JavaScript. So I am going to add this to the base HTML file because here in maps I am inherit that property from there. So now I will be able to see the map in our map HTML. And yep, and it's centered in Colombia. Now, the map is only the map, doesn't have any element. So now we want to add some web map services. So I want to add the streams or the river network of Colombia and the stations that or the hydrological stations available for Colombia. And these web map services are also considered like layers, so we add them in the same way that we add the base map. So, but here we need to define a geo server with the storage and the type of service that we have that map. the name of the shape file, and the type. So it's a GeoServer. And now we have the streams, and we do the same for the stations. So I have to add this map, base layer, the streams, and now I need to put the stations and the stations. And now we have the blue lines are the rivers, and the red dots are the hydrological stations. We can add on-click relations. These shape files of these web map services has attributes related. Despite the location, they can have a name or some IDs, and with that information, we can access to some data in some database, some JSON files that we can display using the Python property and all these capabilities that are included in this Tethys platform. So now I want to show kind of finished up in the Tethys portal from BYU. So we have here different apps. So I want to show you the groundwater level mapping tool. So this app takes the information about well location. So we are going to select the only aquifer that we have that we have used here in Colombia. So now we can see these dots, that is the wells. So in those wells we have measurements of the water surface elevation under the ground, and we have historical time series, so we can select any interpolation method, and we can define like the minimum sample of wells. Yeah, it's showing how the water depth is changing along the time. So we can also go to one particular well, and it's going to show this time series. Also, these are the different measurements in each one of the wells. So here we have the shape files that create raster files, and also has related time series data that are. Thank you for your attention. This was my technology video, and I hope you had enjoyed it and you had liked it.